Hello, everybody. I'm Trevor Bowen. I'm the costume designer for Appropriate here at Seattle Rep, opening later on this April. I just wanted to step through a couple of things for the character of River for the show. You know, one thing that is really fascinating about the show is that it is set in a contemporary setting. And in conversations with our director, Timothy, we were thinking about sort of like how do we create people on stage? How do we create looks that feel very honest and earnest to who these folks are rather than, a performer wearing a costume? How do we kind of merge those two together to make someone like really, really special? So we wanted to highlight the character of River, played by Sophie Kelly-Hedrick in the show, kind of beginning with reading the script. The script provides us with so much information about who this person is. I often find that my role is to kind of look in between those words. Like, what is the scaffolding? The script is our scaffolding. The script is our skeleton. I hope to provide maybe some of the ligaments and the cartilage, the kind of the little in-between bits that kind of keep things moving and agile and functional as we kind of create this costume. This approach that Timothy and I agreed on was creating collages for each character. In this case, sometimes a collage can just be sort of an idea board, kind of a bulletin board, kind of a mood board. In this case, it is the actual design for the show. So, who is River? Who's this person? What's she up to? River is a person with a really unique style sensibility. And she moves through the world, I think, in a way that is quite celebratory, that is very colorful, that is all about kind of creating a cake of ideas of a look that may be coming from many different cultures. There's also something visually engaging about the way that she looks. There's also something very visually mysterious about the way that she looks too. The way that she does this is through like layering jewelry, layering ideas, layering shapes, layering embroidery, layering a lot of things that are based in craft, which is like one thing that this shop very much specializes in. We have this like really multi-textured necklace. Underneath that is a red present embroidered top. So this embroidered tablecloth top was created by Naomi. She's one of the drapers in the shop. It consists of like 2 tablecloths. And if you notice, you can see here all of this texture and all of this color. This was hand done by Naomi specifically for the show. So she created this tablecloth kind of topper, tank, or whatever, to complete this look for River. You can see multicolored belt, embroidered jeans, and then her hip bag as well. We're also kind of creating someone who is very functional. Like everything that she has, everything that she needs serves a purpose. It might look very aesthetically engaging, yes, but the amount of layering and texturing that we're doing and the repetition of these kind of circular forms of kind of like the flora, the life that she has in her. You see someone who is like life first, living first, joy first. We also want to create someone who you don't really know where they come from. You have a sense that maybe these things are old, maybe these things were purchased. In the case of River, we kind of like wanted to explore someone who loves to shop for new things, loves to shop for vintage things, love a clothing swap. This is also someone who probably runs the gamut. And Sophie and I had a great conversation yesterday about some of her jewelry, and that she may even have on, in addition to kind of like estate and antique jewelry, like a ring. She might have like a Cartier ring on, kind of thrown on with that. No one would really ever be able to catch that. But we also know that like this swirl that she's created should be a little confusing, should be a little bit engaging. And for people that maybe who don't want to step into her orbit, that's probably a good thing. It's a little bit formidable when you meet someone who is so layered, who has this story, who really visually carries their story on their person. River's footwear is extremely important. This is a boot. This is a person who wears the same shoe every day. This boot, this moccasin, represents sort of like how she wants to move through the world and how she wants to be seen. A lot of us may know this shape from many different cultures. What what River has done has kind of adopted this into a language that feels um, old and very current at the same time. It feels very traditional, but it also skews fashion at the same time. And you can kind of see here that there's a little bit of age that has been painted into the boot, and that's been done by Brent, our crafts person and dyer painter. And what we've done is we've actually switched this out to like ball fringe. This is just a piece of ball fringe that's been added. The embroidery came, but some glitter paint has been added on to this as well. Also getting a sense of like the abstraction of this shape. It looks very familiar, but it is something that probably no one could actually sort of name. Is it a bird? Is it a mask? Is it a combination of these things? Is it a rendering of a piece of landscape? Who knows what it is? All of this, we wanted to incorporate all of this like head to toe, this idea of sort of like mystery and this like potluck of ideas, this really kind of global look. I think one word that one could use for this person is like traveler. She's like definitely kind of like a traveler vibe, traveler energy that she kind of moves through the world with, or that she wants people to perceive her to have in this story. Last but not least, I have to mention the wig. This wig was built by Shelby Rogers, our hair and makeup designer. And one thing we were very curious about is if we have someone who has all of this layering in their garments, what would her hair look like? What is the story that her hair is telling? So we started off looking at these reference images here. And a few things that we know about this character is that she works in a kitchen. There's a sense of order and organization in her world for sure. There's also a sense of the practical. So hence these buns, hopefully maybe look cool. It's also very practical because thinking about food service, hair needs to be out of your face and all of that. Also, we were very curious about what are the things that she is adopting from her travels across the world, across the United States, that she's kind of put into her hair as well. Also, we wanted to highlight how something that is quite complicated can really appear very effortless. So if really looking at the textures in the hair, you see that there's like multiple colors. There's some like dye work that is happening through the hair. There's macrame, there's braids, there are locks in the hair. The hair also has like kind of an uneven, broken, wavy structure as well. So you see the meticulousness like in the look. You see the level of detail that this character kind of lives in for a look that actually feels very, very kind of effortless. Like everything just kind of like came to me from the thrift store, or I just found it in a garage. But it seemed very important to kind of establish someone who has a lot of information on that person. When you step into the actual story, everything is kind of a reveal in the story. Everything that we learn about someone is a surprise to the audience. What happens when we kind of put the surprise first for people in a way? We actually kind of work backwards in the case of this character. Thank you all so much for joining me on this kind of like deep dive into one of the several many fascinating characters in Appropriate. And just so you know, Appropriate opens at Seattle Rep April 15th. Please come and check it out.